Hello, algebra students. This is a very brief lecture on section 8.3, which is about finding special products of polynomials. All right, there are two types of special products that we're going to be talking about today. One type is where you have something that is being squared, or it could look slightly different. It could look like this, x plus 2 times x plus 2. Both of these things mean the exact same thing. X plus 2 squared means take x plus 2 and multiply it by itself. Hence, you get the statement right here. So oftentimes students take this exponent and apply it to the x and the 2. That is actually 100% an incorrect thing to do. That's not mathematically sound. You have to keep in mind that squaring something means multiplying it by itself, and then take the statement and FOIL it. When you FOIL that, you're going to do x times x. That's going to give you x squared, and then x times 2 will give you 2x. Inside times inside is also going to give you a 2x, and then you can do last times last and get plus 4. From here, you're going to combine your like terms, giving you x squared plus 4x plus 4. Let's then look at this. 2x minus 3 in parentheses is being squared. Remember, to square something means to multiply by itself. 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. We then need to FOIL it. 2x times 2x is going to give you 4x squared. That's first times first. Outside times outside, you have to do 2x times negative 3. So you do the 2 times the negative 3, giving you negative 6. And then there's 1x with that. Here you have negative 3 times 2x. Negative 3 times 2 is also negative 6. And then we have 1x there. And negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Looking to combine your like terms here, negative 6x and negative 6x make negative 12x. So we have 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Now I do want to take a moment here to think about this, see if we can identify any shortcuts. This is going to be true for any binomial, two terms that you're squaring. Any binomial that you're squaring. If you wanted to, you could write this out and get your answer here. In fact, I'm not even going to suggest you do anything other than that. However, I do want to point out a slight trick here. If you have a binomial and you're squaring it, to get the first term, you could just square this. What is 2x times 2x? It's 4x squared. To get the last term, 9, take negative 3 and square it. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. And the middle term you could get by multiplying 2x and negative 3 by each other. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x, and then multiplying that by 2 to get negative 12x. So if you have a plus or minus b here, and you're squaring it, the first term is going to be the a squared, the last term is going to be the b squared, and the middle term is going to be the a2ab. That worked over here as well. Let's take a look. The first term, x squared, you get by squaring x. The last term, 2, the last term is 4, and you get by squaring 2. And then if you took these two things and multiplied them together, you'd get 2x. And then if you doubled that, you'd have 4x. So that's one of the types. I'm definitely not saying you shouldn't just write it out twice and FOIL it. That's 100% acceptable. I just want to point out that there is this trick. The second type is when you have the exact same numbers, but one time they're being added and one time they're being subtracted. You'll see that here, x plus 2 and x minus 2, and here, 2x plus 3 and 2x minus 3. Exact same numbers for your terms, but one time they're being added and one time they're being subtracted. We're similarly going to get a little trick that shows up here. When you FOIL this, x times x gives you x squared. Outside times outside, x times 2 is 2x. Inside times inside, negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And then last times last, negative 2 times positive 2 is negative 4. Now with this problem, where one is positive and one is negative, like we have, the middle two terms are actually just going to cancel each other out. Positive 2x and negative 2x cancel, and you're left with x squared subtract 4, and that's your answer. Let's go over here and try this one then. Same thing, FOIL it. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. 3 times 2x is going to give us positive 6x. And last times last, 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. The middle two terms will cancel each other out, and you're left with 4x squared minus 9. So can we look at this and identify a pattern, a shortcut, whatnot, to doing this process? Once again, foiling it is an acceptable answer. It's not even that much work. But I'm trying to get you to see some patterns here because it's going to help us in future lessons. So when we have two numbers, x and 2, one time they're being added and one time they're being subtracted, the shortcut would be to do first times first, x times x, get x squared, and last times last, minus 4, and that's it. It worked here too. First times first, 2x times 2x is 4x squared. And here's the last one, 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it here. You guys go ahead and try both of these problems. You can use the shortcut or you don't have to. I would suggest trying it, see if it works. And then when you're ready, go ahead and push play and we'll go over it together. So if we're using the shortcut here, this is the variety where one is being added and one is being subtracted. If you remember, then all you have to do is multiply the first times first and get 9x squared, and then multiply the last one and the last one, and you get negative 100, and that's your answer. That's not to say that I don't want you just foiling this. You would end up with 9x squared minus 30x, inside times inside plus 30x, minus 100. Those would cancel, and you would end up with 9x squared minus 100. That's fine to do that much work. I just want you to identify that there is the pattern there because, like I said, this will be helpful if we can identify this in future lessons. This one's the one that's a little bit more complicated. The shortcut was to do 4x times 4x and get 16x squared. And the last one is negative 3 times negative 3, and you get positive 9. And then the middle is what happens when you multiply these two things together. 4x and negative 3 make negative 12x, and then double it, minus 24x. I'm going to go ahead and go the long way just so that you can see that it works, and just to say, hey, this is a good way to answer this problem as well. You have to write it out twice because that's what it means to square something. 4x times 4x is 16x squared. Notice it matches. Then you would get minus 12x, and then plus 9. Those two combine to make negative 24x, 16x squared, positive 9. Notice that we got the same answer as up here. And like I said, I don't need you to use the shortcut. I just want you to know it's there. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.